All right, good evening. At this point, I'd like to call to order the February 10th Mechanicsburg Area School District Board meeting. Just as a reminder, the meetings of the Mechanicsburg Area School District Board of Directors are being recorded and live streamed for the purposes of transparency and increased public access. The live streams, along with recordings from previously held meetings, can be found on the school board's YouTube channel. At this point, I ask you to please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this point, we take a moment for silent meditation. Mr. Swear, roll call.
Yes, starting with Mr. Bradley.
Here.
Mrs. Dang.
Here.
Mr. Frangel.
Here.
Mrs. Huff. Mrs. Kearns.
Here.
Mr. Kickline.
Here.
Dr. Lebo.
Here.
Miss Morgan.
Here.
And Mrs. Strelo.
Here.
Okay. At this point, are there any changes to the agenda?
There are no changes and it will stand as is.
Okay. Thank you. We have the reading of the minutes from the January 13th, 2026 board. Any board members with any comments or issues related to those minutes? If not, then they will stand as written. Okay. At this point, we have reached the first of two opportunities for public comment. There will be two opportunities for public comment this evening. As a reminder, public comment is limited to residents and taxpayers of the school district. At this time, we have reached the first opportunity. This opportunity is reserved for comments related to items that are listed on this evening's agenda for a vote. A second opportunity for public comment will occur at the end of the meeting. The second opportunity for public comment is reserved for comments on issues not listed on the agenda and not being voted this evening. Public comment will be limited to 3 minutes per individual and requires community members to observe a reasonable decorum. If you would like to address the board, please share your name and the municipality in which you reside. At this time, I see no one, so we'll move on to item 3.01, Superintendent of School Reports, Dr. Betts.
Always excited to be able to bring folks from our schools, whether it be our principals, teachers, or students, before the board so you can continue to see the great things that are happening. And it's our way of sharing our appreciation to you as well for the support that you've given us through various programs over the years. So tonight we have two different schools that are here to share with you some great things happening and share that appreciation. And we'll get started with our youngest folks. We'll get started with kindergarten. So I'll turn things over to Mrs. Bear. She'll have some guests as well.
Hello, everybody.
Good evening.
My name's Riley Bear. I am the principal at Kindergarten Academy. I know many of you, but I also don't know some of you, so I'll do a quick introduction of myself before we get started. I've been in Mechanicsburg since 2017. I started at Northside as a 4th grade teacher. I transitioned to Elmwood Academy, and I taught there for 3 years as a 4th grade ELA teacher. I was the assistant principal at Elmwood Academy for 3 years, and this is now my 2nd year as the principal at Kindergarten Academy. So it's really nice to meet all of you guys, and thanks for taking the time. I also would like to give Mrs. Hoover a chance to introduce herself. Mrs. Hoover is our reading interventionist at Kindergarten Academy, but feel free to share a little bit.
Hi, nice to see all of you. Lisa Hoover, I have been teaching for 32 years. I started in Central Dauphin, came over here in '99 at Shepherdstown, and then moved to Broad Street and taught there for 15 years, a few under Dr. Vitz. And what'd you say?
With Dr.
With Dr. Vitz. And then came over here to the Kindergarten Academy, and I've been here ever since. So, yeah, it's nice to see all of you.
So Mrs. Hoover and I are going to share a little bit about kindergarten transition. We know that we have a really important role as a kindergarten academy in welcoming our youngest Wildcats to the school district and also supporting families as they enter the school district. We take that job pretty seriously, teaching them everything from attendance and how to work on attendance to also supporting them as they navigate curriculum and communicating with teachers and all of that. So what some people don't realize is that some of those transition activities actually happen as early as 3 years old with some of our students. So we're going to share 3 things that we do to help support incoming kindergartners as they transition into the district. So our goal in Kindergarten Academy Transition is that we're developing meaningful relationships with our parents and developing strong connections with them as they begin their journey into Mechanicsburg School District. We know how important connectedness is for families and belongingness is for families. So we take pride in trying to offer a comprehensive look at how we can help our students come in and our families come in and feel successful. So we have 3 main transition activities. The first is We Wildcats, and we also do pre-K workshops alongside the United Way. That happens before students even come in. We also have our kindergarten registration program and our kindergarten orientation program. So Mrs. Hoover is, really the mastermind behind We Wildcats, so I'm going to let her share from that piece first, and then I'll share a little bit more about registration and orientation.
This one?
Yes.
Okay, so We Wildcats actually started as a self-directed, and I was very, very interested in the child and the brain and how it works, and a lot of growth comes between birth and 3. And we did some activities with things like that, but to get them into the school, we kind of zeroed in on 3 and 4-year-olds. We really looked at it's the NAESE, it's the National Association for Education of Young Children, and really focused on several different domains. So readiness, sensory, health and wellness, those kind of things. And then we took it into what exactly would we want for our students. And all of these things just are super important. Obviously, I zeroed in on phonological awareness and social emotional growth and things like that, but we added fine motor, gross motor, all of those things. So we took a look at all of those domains and made sure that what we offer for our 3 and 4-year-olds coming in includes all of these kind of activities. This is just kind of an overview. We hope that we get them in between 3 and 4 times. They come in with their parents. It is for 1 hour. It's not a whole lot of time. We really, really try to make it very efficient for parents. But we really do focus on all of those pre-readiness skills. And so many of those things are just so important for our young learners. So we also look at kind of a developmental stage, and I'll just use phonological awareness as one of them. So the first time we might just teach parents and show them rhyming, and then we would go into maybe syllables, and then into first sounds, and then into some blending things. So we tried to map that out as to what they might need or what would be helpful. We have had a lot of parents. We take about 50 students or children each time, and we really, while it's zeroed in on the children, our focus is really to have the kids come in, have them feel successful in the building with their parents, but the end goal is for those parents to take an item home or knowledge home and work with their children. And I've had actual staff from Mechanicsburg say, I didn't know that. I had no idea. I didn't know my 4-year-old was supposed to be using scissors. What are you talking about, Lisa? So even very educated parents just don't know. Like, oh, when they're 3 and 4, yes, these are the things that they should be doing. Just a few things that we really focus here, some pictures, exploring math shapes, down below fine motor. We do a lot of fine motor skills because everybody's on a tablet these days. And so when we get them, their little fingers are just not developed or not ready yet. So we're really working hard on that one. Some snowmen, social emotional things, and then we always added like a gross motor. At the bottom there, you'll see they were having a snowball fight. So we had paper that had letters on. We would play music. They would toss them back and forth, and then we'd stop. They'd open the paper and have to say the letter or the letter sound. So just activities like that. I brought some to share with you, and I also brought our next We Wildcat, which is in March, coming up, March 13th. And I'll just let you pass it up. We'd love to have you come and join us, or come walk around and see these little ones. And then on the back, I just have almost every time we have these parents who just reach out and say thank you. So just some testimonials too. Just some really quick, some activities that we sent home. Might be a little ball with the child. Catch it. They have to look at a letter or sound that's on their hand and then say the sound. Sewing cards. Remember these when you were little? But they don't have that. So when they leave here, not only are we teaching them what to do, we hand this to the parent, and they put it in their bag and take it home. You saw the math shapes. So how do you sort that? Why do you sort that? What does it look like? And then they take this home with them as well. Lots and lots. In March, you'll see, we just came up with this new idea with this adorable little kitten, but you use a little clothespin and you get to feed him different letters. So we just anyhow. You open it up, put the little cards out, and then they get to feed the kitten, but they have to say the letter or the letter sound. And then we have lots of other things, but the culminating, we usually end up with the letter magnetic boards and things like that, and some magnets. So funding so far has been through the Wildcat Foundation this last year. Before that, we have done a lot of fundraisers. You know, if you go out to UPMC, they'll give you money. And so we've really tried to do that. We're hoping to, utilize other funds and things like that. But, so yeah, any questions that you have? Yes, Lane.
When did this start?
So my first thing was Literacy Night Under the Lights, which I know Bronte helped me with. So that was years and years ago. In 2015 is when I started there. That was a larger, on the football field, a larger thing. After 2020, we really did not have the vendors. I couldn't get them back in, things like that. And when I did the self-directed, that was the big project, and then it was to go into camps like this. So we said, well, let's just do it at a smaller level and get these parents in as much as possible. So really, ever since 2015, we've done something like this. The last, I'd say, 10 years. The last probably several years, maybe 7 years, we've had it, and we've had to upload. We have 30 kids, then 40, and now we're up to 50. We don't usually do more than 50. I think we're pretty proud of them. The last one, we got pretty proud of. We have about 48 kids. So we always start with a story, and then they kind of go around and go to all the tables and learn.
Yeah, I didn't realize that the what was it called?
Literacy Night Under the Lights.
That was kind of the precursor to this.
That was, yeah. And that was birth. We did birth to 5 at that station. So yeah, I'd love to do like 4-year-olds come 4 times. That was in my software, and 3-year-olds come 3 times, and even to have infants and things. But our staff is so fantastic, and they come 4 different times in the year. To ask them to come 9 times seems a lot. So yeah, we even have retired teachers that come back. We have teachers who are at Shepherdstown or Upper Allen, and they come back and help run it. So it's just a nice little time. Yeah.
Are these kids that you inviting to come in that maybe haven't been into preschool, or are these open to anybody?
It's open to anyone. In Mechanicsburg, I have had Hershey and a couple other parents say, hey, I've heard about this. Can I come? And I'm like, it is for our Mechanicsburg students. Last time we had it was in January, and I did have Camp Hill and Cumberland Valley come over just to observe and see. So I've had some other teachers and reading specialists come and take a look at it.
I wasn't sure if you were targeting kids that
We
maybe
try.
have never been into.
We definitely try.
Okay.
And even if Mrs. Bott has anyone who she sent like specific emails to or our form, and said, hey, come on in, have a look and see what it's all about. So, and just to have eyes on the students and conversations with parents.
Do you do anything still at Cumberland Point?
We have a couple times. I have not, no. So what we used to do is after literacy night, we would have all of these materials if we still had anything left, and we would go into Cumberland Point and then hand things out to the kids. And it's a good idea. I probably should get back into doing that too. Yes?
So you said that 50 is kind of your max.
Mhm.
So if you were to be able to dream, where would you see this?
I mean, it would be great to have anyone who wants to come. Do you know what I mean?
Bigger.
When we did Literacy Night Under the Lights, we capped it at 300. Only because when you have 300 children coming, you also have their families and their adults that are joining them, and it was a lot of people. I think we probably had close to 900. And if it wasn't at the field, it was at the middle school. So, even having 50 children, it's great, but really it's about 150 people here. I have the teachers at stations, and then they're with like one or two parents, and sometimes they bring siblings, which is fine. But it gets to be pretty crowded. So, yeah. So to keep it manageable, we really have not. If someone emails me and says, "Please, can I come?" I don't turn them down. Really, the cap is only because we do the products and make sure that and I want to make sure that we have enough for the people who sign up to have, that takeaway and then to go home with those materials. So, yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Come on the 13th. We'd love to have you.
Well, and thank you for what you do. For many families, kindergarten is their first introduction into Mechanicsburg, and they start down that path of the tradition, pride, excellence, but the start to see the dynamic teachers that we have that are willing to spend extra time to just help with that transition and help the parents that, like you said, may not have been aware that they should be doing this at this point. So thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
So there's so many things, wonderful things that Lisa does with We Wildcats, and we even have more beyond that we do to support with that kindergarten transition. We do partner with the United Way, and we offer pre-K workshops. So that same age group, those children aged 3 through 5, come into our building on Tuesday mornings through Ready for School, Ready to Succeed, and they get workshops and opportunities to work in that open classroom. There's usually a story time, music, yoga, all sorts of things that come through. So another great opportunity to have our parents coming in and seeing the building even before their students start. The next kind of stage in that transition process is the kindergarten registration stage. This one is really led primarily by our school counselor, Casey Heck, and she has recently re-envisioned kindergarten registration, so it's going to look a little different this year. She has rethemed it. One of kindergarten's kind of slogans over time has been "Your adventure starts here," and so she wants to embrace that, and so she's turned it into more of an adventure theme that we can continue to use year over year. At that kindergarten registration process, we get students and our incoming kindergartners coming in. The kindergartners go down the hallway and they get vision checks, speech checks. We do screenings of where they're at academically, and then they get an opportunity just to play and get to meet some of our staff members. At the same time, parents go through their own process where they get to visit various tables. They usually meet with HR, with PTO, with the library. Karen Marlin even comes in and she has a table for food services and examples of like what all the meals look like. So when your student orders Goya, what does that mean? And that kind of thing. So she brings that in so they have the opportunity to go through and meet with everybody, some of those key district contacts. So I have that. This is just a snippet of what Casey's been working on. So the paper on the left is the parent sheet. So the parents go through and they earn stamps as they get to visit all of those different places and get that information. And then the one on the right side is the student one. So they earn their stamps as they go through and visit the different stations too. So that's another part. We get a lot of valuable information from that registration process. And at times it also helps us with our class list creation for the next school year, which is awesome. And then our final transition activity is kindergarten orientation. This is when the students are coming in, they know their classroom teachers, and it's their last opportunity to get started and oriented right before we start the school year. So the parents get the opportunity to get welcomed to the district by me, and I go through some of those nuts and bolts of like, what does it mean to be a parent in public school, and like, what are some things you can think about and look forward to. The students get to go to their classroom teachers. That day, they start already learning classroom routines. So even before they walk in on day one, they're already learning some of those classroom routines during this kindergarten orientation. The last thing that we added in the last year or two is kind of like fall hayride style. We partnered up with Ashley Rosinski in Transportation to have buses come through. And so parents get copies of the bus expectations, and they get to ride the school bus around the neighborhood with the students and talk about what does it mean to ride the school bus. Because you can imagine on your first day of school as a 5-year-old, the thought of getting on a school bus can be really daunting and scary. So giving them the chance to see the school bus, ride the school bus, do it with somebody that they're comfortable with, go over what that means is something else that we've tried to do. So this is just a little bit from my slideshow that I go over. So we talk about, we have like from the time capsule that was opened from years ago, we talk about how there's a lot of elements of kindergarten that haven't changed since when you were a kid, and there's also a lot of elements that have. We talk about the Wildcat Way, those school bus rides. I talk about my experience, that's me as a 5-year-old. So we talk about my experiences as a kindergarten student and some of the things that they can look forward to. And we also talk about that idea of filling buckets and our expectation for our students. So we have a ton of options and opportunities for our parents to kind of get them acclimated and comfortable as they start their journey through Mechanicsburg. Do you guys have any other questions before we pass it off to Shepherdstone? Yes.
Not a question, but just affirming some of Mr. Bradley's comments. My granddaughter is now a second grader at Broad Street, but she went through the kindergarten academy, and I joked, if you want your faith in humanity restored, visit the kindergarten academy, right? Because it is rainbows and butterflies. My granddaughter Adeline, you know, she was turning 6 in December when she started, but really sensitive little girl with some sensory overwhelm, and every concern my daughter had when she reached out to Adeline's teacher, the subject line was always the same. The response from the teacher was handle with care, right? And as a grandmom, I was like, oh, you've won me for life. You've won me for life. But I know that experience wasn't unique to my granddaughter. That experience is what every student who goes through that program has, and my grandson is coming in August. So he has different issues than mine. But I just am so amazed and fascinated by the work that you do downstairs in setting these children up for success, not just this year, but in the coming years. And Adeline, the Wildcat Way and Gammy, I filled my bucket. I'm like, whoa, right? Like, that's exciting stuff, right? And it is teaching them the value of hard work, and it's also teaching them some resilience, because Adeline had some struggles, right, adjusting to that. So yeah, you guys are phenomenal down there. Please share that with your staff.
I will. We're very fortunate. I'm fortunate to work with an incredible staff and to also lead a building that was already started with such integrity and such good intentions, and a program that was easy to pick up and keep going. So I'm fortunate to get to work with the people I do. So thank you. I'll share that with them.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, Kate.
So what was our registration this year?
For this upcoming year, so we're living in a lot of worlds right now. So we're currently enrolling for next year and prepping. Right now, I'm actually spending a lot of my time prepping for next year. So this year, 325, 323, 325 is our current enrollment. And that fluctuates obviously throughout the year. Not all of those families come to these events, but I would say we get a pretty decent turnout for the most part. Yeah. Anything else? Awesome. Thank you. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.
Two of our incredible staff members that get our Wildcats started on their journey, and then some of those students move along to Shepherdstown. So we're also excited to be able to have Mr. Eckelmeyer here to be able to share some goings-on at Shepherdstown, and he has some friends with him too.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Bitts. Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, members of the school board, for having me here this evening. Dr. Bitts, Mr. Longwell, Mrs. Schweigert, thank you so much. My name is Dave Eckelmeyer. I'm the principal at Shepherdstown, and it's an honor to be here this evening. Share a little bit about something that we have started this year, and it's an opportunity for us to tell our story at Shepherdstown through the use of social media. And so we started this journey this year, and really it's been something new for us, but it's an opportunity for us to share the good news, the great things that are happening at Shep. So over the course of the next few minutes, just like to highlight that with you here this evening. There's some pictures from our social media activities, so you can see some events. Some of them are just the highlights of the day. So we have our Veterans Day program there on the left. In the center, we have some Recess Smiles with Cosmo. On the right, more recently, teachers celebrating the 100th day of school. So lots of fun. So this evening, just some highlights. We're going to first share our why, creating a window into our school, and then talk a little bit about our implementation, and then just photos, reels, and stories. And I have learned what a reel is, which just simply is a movie. So I feel like I'm getting older now that many people are sharing, oh, a reel? That's just a movie, Dave. So we'll talk a little bit about that and share some of those as well. So really our why, thinking about there are great things happening every single day at Mechanicsburg and every single day at Shepherdstown. And we really wanted the opportunity to be able to share our story, to share the good that's happening, to share the great that our teachers are doing in our classrooms. And photos can really share that story. So we do highlight those photos in our weekly newsletter that I share, but we wanted a way to be able to give more of a window into the school. And so Facebook, Instagram, our live feed on our website provides that opportunity. So you can see some pictures there. Again, some snapshots of staff working one-on-one with students. A STEM activity in the upper left-hand corner there, Maya was building in the library. And then on the bottom left, Dr. Bitts recognizing some staff, one of them actually here this evening, Mrs. Robison, Mr. Petrello, who stepped up and were helping during a community meeting with singing. So just this opportunity to build more connection with our community and with our families. So our implementation, back in July, we launched our new website, and as part of that, we have a new newsletter platform on ThrillShare. So we transitioned our weekly newsletters to that format, and it's nicely integrated with our website, so it makes it very easy to update, to add pictures and photos. But in talking with Mrs. Panzer, our district communications specialist, in September, Mrs. Miller, the administrative assistant at Shepherdstown, Mrs. Panzer, myself, we sat down and we're like, how do we continue to share the good that's happening here? And she was an expert in being able, Mrs. Panzer was able to walk us through how to get Facebook started, Instagram started, and make sure that it's done the right way. So in late September, we launched. We, of course, started with no followers, and we have really grown. And I'll share those stats here in a few moments. But we started sharing about a photo or two a day. And then in October, we had our first reel. So we'll share that here this evening. So some stats, since our launch with Facebook, we've had almost 90,000 views, so 89,000 views, 10,000 engagements, and that's reactions, clicks, likes, comments, 171 followers. About 39% of the views are from followers, and then 61% are non-followers. And then Instagram just shows the past 90 days. 18,000 views, 560 interactions, 114 followers. It's interesting, the views on Instagram are mostly from followers. So, but great, I would say engagement throughout the past few months. So one of our reels, Mrs. Andrea Hennessy, our reading specialist, who's very social media savvy, she's like, we have to do a reel. And she made a number of reels, if you check out our pages. Her first one was a celebration that we have for our students going to the Special Olympics, Miss Serio's classroom. So our entire school community gathers in our lobby and our hallways to cheer on the students. And again, this is not something that really, anyone outside of the school would be able to see on a typical basis, but through our social media platform and the reel, we can share that. So we'll just take a few moments to take a look. So as they were getting ready to go to the Special Olympics, it really, you could tell the kids were just so thrilled, and our students were so happy to celebrate. So, so as I shared with you, this is an opportunity to tell our story, and Carter Robinson is here this evening, a second grader at Shepherdstown, and he's featured in a few of our photos, and he's going to come down and share just what those pictures are about. So Carter, come on down.
Hi, my name is Carter Robinson. I'm going to tell you about 3 special events from 2nd grade. In the first picture, I dressed up as Paul Bunyan for our Tall Tale celebration. Cosmo was Bake the Blue Ox. Each classroom had an activity, and my favorite was eating flapjacks. In the second picture, I had my Greek festival with lots of food. We got to go outside and do Olympics. At the end, we got a little gold medal. In the last picture, we went on a field trip to Hershey Gardens. When we got there, we went to the butterfly house with a bunch of butterflies. I was hoping one would land on me, but it didn't. My class had a lot of fun. I hope you like hearing my story about 2nd grade.
Carter, thank you so much for sharing. So really, this has been a great opportunity for us at Shepherdstown to, again, share our story, highlight the great things that are happening at Mechanicsburg. Take a moment to follow us if you have Facebook or Instagram. It's shep.wildcats. So you can certainly follow us. If you don't have those accounts, you can also follow us on the app. So if you go into the Mechanicsburg School District app, you can go into the live feed on the website. But I'd just like to thank you all for your support of our schools and our students. And if you have any questions at this time, we've been happy to answer questions.
I'm already following and liking and engaging, so I'm enjoying watching what you are doing.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, Carter, when we have students come to share with the board, we give those students swag. Good job. All right, well, some great things happening in our buildings, and just love being able to share with you some of those highlights. So we'll have some other buildings with us at different times throughout the year. But that's all for my report.
Excellent. Thank you very much. At this point, we'll move on to item 3.02, Cumberland Perry Area Career and Technical Center Report. Mr. Kickline.
Yes, so I got the opportunity of attending my first JOC meeting at the CTC. I did not know they served dinner, which was wonderful.
Yes.
That's not why I volunteered. One thing that came back is Aquaterra had done well samples around the area, and they said it is good. They're going to do one more round of tests in May and submit that to the DEP to put the issue behind them. As you may have known, there was an issue with a fuel leak there a while back, and that got into the creek and into the water table, and so it needed to be mitigated. If you go to the CTC, there's a lot going on. It's under construction. I found my way through it, well, not through it, but around it, and there's some talk about, at this point, tying in the new facility with the existing facility in the summertime. There's a high likelihood that the middle school camps will not happen this summer, just to kind of set that expectation, because they'll have to have the older section kind of ripped apart to tie it into the new section. There's also some other good news. The FFA students had a landscape exhibit at the farm show. They won first place, and they will be competing in the Big E competition in Massachusetts, September 14th. There are some other teams also. I know 4 programs had first place positions, and will be representing at states in carpentry, masonry, manufacturing, and pin design. Unfortunately, Joni Rudy is retiring. She's the business administrator. She's stepping down to spend some time with her grandkids. And there was a lot of discussion. I think we're going to end up petitioning Silver Spring Township around the emergency generator. They're wanting us to put in a diesel generator, and after the experience we just recently had and are almost out of, we don't necessarily want to put in a diesel generator at this time. So there is talk about trying to get them to put in a natural gas generator, which there's plenty of natural gas there, and that we don't need to build a retention basin and all that stuff. So the CTC will be meeting again on February 23rd. Any questions?
Go an hour early for dinner. That's my recommendation.
It's my recommendation. It was good. It was good. I did eat beforehand. I didn't know what was going to be served. But
Desserts are awesome.
And that is put on by the culinary students, obviously. So they practice on us a little bit. What's up?
I was just going to highlight very briefly, Joni has been, Mr. Longwell, you might know how many years, but she has been the business manager there at the CTC for a long time. So she will be missed.
I was going to say probably upwards of 30 years, I bet.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's been a valued colleague and has done a great job in helping assist the executive director there, but in her leadership at the CTC.
So they will be looking for a business administrator. Don't leave us.
No.
I do like the fact, Mr. Cookline, you're already saying "we" when you're talking about the CTC. So it's like you're already engaged and
Bought in.
And bought into the CTC.
What they
Hey,
do there, and
dinner will buy me in most of the time too. So, all right, thank you very much. At this point, move on to item 3.03, the Capital Area Intermediate Unit, and I will.
First meeting will be later this month. So
Correct.
you
I'll give you a break.
yeah.
I have the information for the meeting in January, they rolled out the general operating budget and talked about the general operating budget. For those of you that are not familiar, the operating budget is one of the only ones that we actually vote on here. All the sponsoring school or all the supporting school districts have to vote on the operating budget for the IU. There are actually another 40 to 50 other budgets that they manage. Those budgets are usually tied specifically to a program, and so it's funding from state, federal, or from another agency that goes into those programs, and so they manage those. They have to manage that money and those budgets independently. But this one is the only one that we will eventually vote on sometime before May 1st is what they're looking for. In general, the budget showed a little bit of an increase for the work that they're doing. It's again some of the programs that they're adding. The good news is there is no increase for our contribution, so it will remain steady at where we were at before, and most of the other expenses will be offset by some of the other programs that they purchase or that the districts purchase, or they are doing a lot of consortium type work of late, marketing things to other IUs and also school districts. They're also entering into a more advanced, more detailed look at the Enola facilities. When that building was built, the facilities guys say sometimes in some places it was built on the cheap, and so now it's coming back to haunt them that there are things that at this point now they have to start looking at repairing. Not that the building is falling, it's just there are things that they need to be addressing and looking into. So they're working on creating a more extensive plan on that about what they will actually do to address the needs at the Enola building. They don't have a lot of buildings that they actually own. The Enola building is the largest one out of the collection of those. There is a movement on a regional wide area network, a WAN, and they're looking to move forward on that. They're doing some upgrades on that, so they talked a little bit about that. Talked about there might be a quick approval process to go in, that they're trying to update the infrastructure and improve the connections that they have with all the different school districts. Many of the school districts get their some of their internet support from the IU, and so they're working to just upgrade that and focus in on doing that. And then congratulations was for the Keola program. The Keola program received an accreditation with the National Standards for Quality Online Programs, and they recognized the program for its work and over the years on Keola and how it's obtained that particular achievement. And then the next meeting, Mrs. Strello will step in as the representative for the IU and go forward with that. They do serve a breakfast, so I'll let you know ahead of time so that they do serve a little bit of a breakfast, so if you get there a few minutes early, it's usually good. So. Any questions on that? All right. Item 3.04 is the Wildcat Foundation report.
I can share a couple things. Wildcat Foundation Night is coming up here on Friday the 20th at Stocks Manor. If you are interested in attending, there's still some tickets available. There will also be an auction with some of those items being online prior to and continuing through the event, so you can keep your eyes open for that as well. The other big fundraiser for the foundation each year is the golf outing, and they picked the date for that as well. So that is Friday, July 31st will be the foundation golf outing this year. So it's a couple weeks earlier than they've done it the last few, but they're just trying it a little bit earlier to see how that goes. So yeah, big fundraisers, and then they've collected more grant applications than they have each of the last several years from teachers, and then scholarship applications will be close behind here in the spring. So lots happening with the foundation.
Thank you. Item 3.05 is the PSBA legislative report. As you may be aware, the governor rolled out his budget projections for the 2026-2027 year, some increased revenue that he's expecting from certain programs if he can get those particular programs passed. So I guess the initial shot has been fired. Hopefully we do not get into what we got into last year. For those of you that may not have been aware, it took them a long time to actually get through. We always have to have our budget in by June 30th, and we hold to that. Normally we get it in without having a complete understanding of what the state is going to provide for us, and usually that comes a little later. Last year it became much later, and it also impacted many school districts that needed to create gap funds to handle the fact that they were not getting the state money, and it also was a double whammy that the federal money was also not there at the same time, so they were not getting the federal money. We hope that is not a repeat of that, being that it is an election year and that the state representatives and everyone are going through an election year this year, that they will address the budget concerns and get that resolved much sooner. So of course they can go out and campaign and be prepared for hopefully funding the schools in a good way over the next couple of years. One of the other items that you may have seen is there is a move through the state on just conversation about cell phones in the schools, and that has made its way through the Senate, making its way to the House, and the governor is a little more receptive to it, or he is receptive to it. So don't know quite yet how far or how quickly that will move forward, but it does look like that might be something that in later months we will have to address as to what the expectations will be, how we will have to enforce it, and the policies that we will have to put in place as a result of what the legislator mandates. But that is something just to keep in the back of mind that we will have to address and follow whatever guidelines they put forward, or interpret whatever the guidelines are that they put forward, and figure out what we have to do as a school district to follow whatever that law actually becomes. So it is something that they talked about for a couple of years, and this year seems to be the year that it's going to get more traction than previous and likely move forward. So,
No, I think we're anticipating that in all likelihood it's going to pass. The question is timing and what exactly the stipulations will be in the law and then how it gets interpreted. But we're anticipating probably passing. But probably in all likelihood it really wouldn't change much outside of high school, because the other buildings are bell to bell, if you will, already. So high school is the one that would make some changes.
And there are other school districts within this area that are already doing a couple of different variations on it. So it's just a determination of what version of the requirements they'll actually put forth. Is it bell to bell? Is it during instructional time? What do you have to do? So there's different paths that we'll eventually get down as we move forward. Questions on any of that?
I was just going to ask, would that be a policy change we would have to adopt, or is that AR for you?
We traditionally have not had it in policy. We've had it in student handbooks at each level. Whether this legal change requires us to end up putting it into our acceptable use policy or something like that can certainly be a question. But as I said, traditionally it hasn't been in policy.
We're going to skip 3.06. There's no financial facilities.
Can I say that?
Mrs. Morgan, Finance and Facilities Committee meeting.
I have
report.
nothing to report.
Okay.
We have not met, but maybe someday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 3.07, Board President's Report. I wanted to announce that there was an executive session held on January 13th, 2026 at 6:45 p.m. to discuss student matters. Also announce of an executive session held this evening, February 10th at 6:50 p.m. to discuss personnel and student matters as well. And then attached, there are board contacts, committee assignments, and representatives to other organizations, and there are a few items that I need to fill in remaining, so I'll be reaching out to fill in a few of those remaining, but the attachment has the board assignments as we had discussed and agreed upon. Any questions on that? Okay. Moving on, new business, athletics and recreation, 5.01, appointment of the summer recreation staff. Dr. Lebo.
I'd like to ask the board to approve the appointment of recreation staff for seasonal programs.
Any second?
Second.
Any questions or concerns on that item? Mrs. Swire?
Unless I hear a negative response, I'll record the roll call as a unanimous vote.
Thank you. Item 6, new business, budget and finance. 6.01, treasurer's report. Ms. Morgan?
I'd like to ask the board to approve the treasurer's report as per the attachments, which include the following. Number 1 is the treasurer's report for January 2026. Number 2 is the board budget report for January 2026. Number 3 is the general fund invoices paid check number 72601 through 72811 in the amount of $1,537,738.25. Number 4 is the electronic payments in the amount of $5,778,505.67. Number 5 is the general fund invoices payable check number 72812 through 72834 in the amount of $2,250,850.73. Number 6 is the capital reserve fund invoices paid check number 1981 through 1982 in the amount of $8,109.28. And lastly, number 7, the series of 2024 construction fund invoices paid check number 240 through 242 in the amount of $1,529.33.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none?
Unless I hear a negative response, I'll record the roll call as a unanimous vote.
Thank you. Item 6.02, approval of audited financial statements for the year ending January 30th, 2025. I'm sorry, June 30th, 2025. Ms. Morgan.
I'd like to ask the board to approve the audited financial statements for the year ending June 30th, 2025.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? Hearing none. Mrs. Schwartz.
Unless I hear a negative response, I'll record the roll call as a unanimous vote.
Thank you. 6.03, approval of construction change orders. Ms. Morgan.
I'd like to ask the board to approve the construction change orders as presented.
And second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? Hearing none. Mrs. Schwager.
Unless I hear a negative response, I'll record the roll call as a unanimous vote.
Thank you. 6.04, approval of the Cumberland Perry Area Career and Technical Center budget 2026 through 2027. Ms. Morgan.
I'd like to ask the board to approve the Cumberland Perry Area Career and Technical Center budget for 2026 through 2027.
We have a second.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Hearing none. Mrs. Schwager.
Unless I hear a negative response, I'll record the roll call as a unanimous vote.
Thank you. 6.05, approval of capital reserve fund budget for the 2026-2027 school year. Ms. Morgan.
I'd like to ask the board to approve the capital reserve fund budget for 2026 through 2027.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? Hearing none. Mrs. Schwager.
Unless I hear a negative response, I'll record the roll call as unanimous vote.
Thank you. 6.06, approval of the settlement for property assessment appeal. Ms. Morgan.
I'd like to ask the board to approve the settlement for a property assessment appeal.
We have a second.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Hearing none. Mrs. Schwartz.
Unless I hear a negative response, I'll record the roll call as unanimous vote.
Moving on, thank you. 6.07, approval of the annual real estate tax settlements. Once again, Ms. Morgan.
I'd like to ask the board to approve the real estate tax settlements as presented in the attachment.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments?
I'd like to just mention that it's amazing that we have a 98.28% taxes collected. So that's amazing. I'm sure not all districts are that.
It is certainly a high collection percentage. I think, to be in the 90s is good. To be at 98, 99 is excellent. And a lot of credit goes to our 3 tax collectors. Each of the municipalities, as the board knows, has one for each. But also Mrs. Ely's effort as our business manager to work with tax collectors and provide some help, assistance, partnership. And so it's been a very good process, and it is a very good tax collection percentage. So thank you.
Good job.
Any other comments or questions? Seeing none. Mrs. Schwartz.
Unless I hear a negative response, I'll record the roll call as unanimous vote.
Thank you. Number 6.08, tax policies report. Mr. Kickline.
I would like to ask the board to approve the tax policies report as per attached.
We have a second.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none. Mrs. Schwartz.
Unless I hear a negative response, I'll record the roll call as unanimous vote.
Moving on to item 8, new business facilities. Item 8.01, authorization to proceed with design for site improvements at the Mechanicsburg Middle School. Ms. Morgan.
I'd like to ask the board to authorize Crabtree Rohrball, the district architect, and KCI, the district engineer, to proceed with design for site improvements at Mechanicsburg Middle School.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments?
Well, I would like to just give some thanks to the district and what they have done with the facility so far. I think it does, given what we have, it seems to run pretty fluidly, and it's always great to see our principals out there smiling in the cold weather. So I really appreciate the district and the staff. So.
Thank you. And on behalf of Mrs. Huff, I will just add the one concern that she had was just to make sure we consider the walkers from that would have to make their way across the new traffic patterns and how we would accommodate those as we move forward.
I appreciate the point. And in one of our last conversations, I know we had mentioned that Dr. Betts had asked the engineer to keep looking at that. And as we move into design, we'll certainly consider that among other things as we come back to the board for an additional report.
Excellent. Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Okay. Hearing none, Mr. Schwartz.
Unless I hear a negative response, I'll record the roll call as unanimous vote.
Moving on, thank you. Moving on, 8.02, approval for installation of diving boards at the high school natatorium. Ms. Morgan.
I'd like to ask the board to approve the installation of diving boards at the high school natatorium.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments?
I would say it's just an exciting time for those swimmers that are very skilled gymnastically and want to try something new. So we're glad that we more time.
I learned a couple of weeks ago that my brother-in-law used to be a part-time diving coach for Mechanicsburg many years ago. So
interested in.
If he wants to drive up from Virginia every night for practice, but, you know.
We're not paying that mileage.
He'd love that per diem. He would drive it too, but many years ago. Any other questions or comments? Mrs. Schreier.
Unless I hear a negative response, I'll record the roll call as a unanimous vote.
Thank you. Moving on to number 9, new business, personnel. Oh, look, it's not Miss Morgan. 9.01, personnel report. Dr. Lebo.
I'd like to ask the board to approve the personnel report as it's presented here.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? Hearing none?
Unless I hear a negative response, I'll record the roll call as a unanimous vote.
Thank you. Moving on to item 10, new business policy, item 10.01. Second and final reading of revised board policy 209.2, diabetes management. Mr. Frangel.
I'd ask the board to approve the second and final reading of the revised board policy 209.2 on diabetes management.
We have a second.
Second.
Any questions or comments?
I want to make a comment that whenever talk about cell phone policies progresses, I think that one thing that we'll want to keep in mind is those who utilize apps on their phone to manage health conditions like diabetes and what alternatives and what exceptions might be the case.
The early drafts that I've seen are including some
Okay.
exceptions for that.
Okay.
So I think that's on people's radar, but
Yeah.
we'll certainly keep it on our radar either way.
Sounds good. Just to
Appreciate that reminder and point.
Yep.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none? Mrs. Frank? Mrs.
Unless I hear a negative response, I'll record the roll call as a unanimous vote.
Thank you. Item 10.02, second and final reading of revised board policy 823, opioid antagonists.
I ask the board to approve the second and final reading of the revised board policy 823 on opioid antagonists.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? Hearing none? Mrs. Ware.
Unless I hear a negative response, I'll record the roll call as a unanimous vote.
Thank you. Moving on to item 12, hearing of visitors. We've reached the second opportunity for public comment. This opportunity is reserved for comments on issues not listed on the agenda and not being voted upon this evening. As a reminder, public comment is limited to residents and taxpayers of the school district. Public comment will be limited to 3 minutes per individual and requires community members to observe a reasonable decorum. If you would like to address the board, please share your name and the municipality in which you reside. Seeing none. Item 13, adjournment. Ms. Morgan.
I'd like to ask the board to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for your